So one of the assessments that I always like to carry out when I first meet somebody is what's called a PERMA assessment. PERMA stands for positive emotions. It stands for engagement, relationships, meaning, and achievement. And they've also just added an extra H on the end, so it's PERMA. So there's the health as well. And what I like to do is just, when you meet anyone, before you can do any sort of interventions or put together any sort of PBS plan, you want to really make sure you understand who the person is. And PERMA is a great assessment tool to really get a much better understanding of what's important for that person and what their quality of life is like. So for example, P is that positive emotions. So what does that person get on a day-to-day life? What brings them those positive emotions? Is it watching their favorite TV show? Is it seeing some of their family and friends? What is it? What gives them those positive emotions? Is it coloring? Whatever it is, and we want to make sure that if they like doing it, why are we not building it into their weekly sort of plan so they get the opportunity to do it? And the second one we talk about is engagement. And engagement's a really funny one, because sometimes I would have staff members saying, oh, he's been engaged all day. And I'm like, oh yeah, what has he done? Oh, he went trampolining today. I'm like, oh, okay. So how much of it was engagement? It's like, well, I came in, I prepared lunch. Okay, so it's not engaged there. And then we went in the car and we drove an hour. Okay, so still not much engagement yet. Then we get to the trampoline park, and then he waits his half an hour in line. And then he goes on the trampoline and he has 45 minutes of actual engagement. And then we come back home. And the staff member was saying, oh, I've been out with him all day. We've had 6 hours of engagement. And I'm like, has he had 6 hours of engagement? I'm pretty sure he's had maybe an hour. But there's so many more opportunities. And that's where we look at something called active support. And active support is all about including the person in everything that we possibly can. So you could rerun that day, and you could have, like, instead of making that person a packed lunch for them, why can't they make the packed lunch? Why can't they count out the money? Why can't they have their favorite music playing while they're in the car? Why can't we have maybe, how many things can you spot on the drive? There's ways of having proper engagement, and it's not just about those really great activities that we all love to do, but engagement is just as simple as possibly just having a conversation with somebody. True engagement is what we're looking for, not this idea of engagement, actually sitting down with the person and building that connection. And of course, relationships is another one. Relationships is part of a PERMA plan, and relationships could be family members, could be friends, could be community links. And if somebody has some relationships, fantastic, let's keep and maintain those and make sure those relationships, because relationships is a two-way street. You only get out as much as you put in. So we want to make sure that we keep that going. But then with anything on the PERMA plan, if we notice there's a gap and there maybe isn't as much relationships in that person's life, that's an opportunity to put an action plan together to build more relationships. And building relationships is really difficult, especially for people in the community with learning disabilities. And I think what we want to do is make someone part of that community. And to make someone part of a community is something really challenging, because I always like to think of it, are they a member of that community? Are they a tourist? And what I'm trying to explain there is, if you think about it, like if I was visiting a random city and I was a tourist, I could go to the swimming pool, I could go to this restaurant, etc., and I'm still a tourist, but nobody knows who I am in that community. And that's where we want to build true community engagement. And the way that happens is just through time and that consistency. So for example, if we're supporting somebody that loves going to football, we should go to the football every Sunday. And then maybe we go so much that some of the people start to recognize who they are. And they say, why don't you come to one of the away games? And then they go to the away game. And then, oh, we're having a football celebration night. Do you want to come along to that? And then these links are actually starting to form. Like when someone's part of a community, it's like if that person went missing all of a sudden and they disappeared from that house for a couple of weeks, would anyone notice that they were gone? And that's the community links that we're trying to build. Not being a tourist, but really being part of that person's community. Of course, we've got another part of PERMA is meaning. Like what gives that person meaning? Is it religion? Is it, what is it? Like everyone can get meaning from something in life. And we want to just make sure that once again, that people have the opportunity to have that meaning that's really important to them. They have the opportunity to practice it. And so the other part of the PERMA plan is achievement. And of course, I think everybody wants to feel some form of achievement, and it's no different with people with learning disabilities or autism or mental health. We all want to feel like we've achieved something, and it could be something as big as getting a diploma, a BTEC or whatever, or it could be something as simple as just learning how to make a cup of tea, or learning how to lock their door independently, or learning how to, hail a taxi and go from one place to the other independently. And those achievements gives you such a great feeling of accomplishment. And that's what a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do. And we always want to focus on, okay, this person wants to learn how to drive. So, right, there's a lot of steps in that, but it's still something that you can build towards. And once again, there's so many things you can tie back into that quality of life. And of course, H is around health. So we want to make sure people's physical health, mental health is always being addressed, and making sure that we've got action plans to make sure that people's health is maintained. And that's in a nutshell what PERMA is.